Hi, happy 2024. Merry Christmas. It's been a while, I know. Like I said in my other videos, sometimes the holidays are a little tough, and that didn't pass me by. It was tough for me. A lot of things happened. I was moving through a bunch of stuff, which sometimes happens, and our greatest growth sometimes happens when we're triggered, when we have a lot to deal with. And so I'm thankful for that. Something about this year just feels like it's going to be a big year. And I'm not just talking about for myself, but I'm just talking about as a collective. Something big is happening. I don't know what it is. I don't really sit and try to figure it out. It's just a feeling. In my last videos, I spoke about loneliness and about presence. Now, with loneliness, in my case, even though I'm loving myself so much when I'm alone, sometimes I feel lonely. And that could look different for you. It could look something like I have all of these people around and I yet still feel alone. And then we have presence. And that's just a huge topic in and of itself because you don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be present. And then you are. It's something that you have to work towards. And you might slip up. I know I did. I still do. And I've been practicing these things for over a year and a half now. But that doesn't mean that in those moments that we do stumble upon our old patterns, that we can't recognize them and choose differently. And so, with loneliness and with presence, we have our next topic, trust. And let me just off the bat let you know that trust is intense. It's an intense thing, like to trust not only someone else, but to trust ourselves. And I feel like the biggest challenge is trusting ourselves because we usually look to others or outside articles, books, people, I don't know, anything. We look outside of ourselves for answers a lot of times. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's something that we all deal with. But the real challenge is trusting ourselves. And that also ties into presence, shockingly, but also, is that really shocking? No, at this point it's not. But what I mean by that is I'm just going to give you something that happened to me recently. I woke up and I had this feeling and also thought that maybe I shouldn't actually wake up and start my day. Like maybe I should just lay here and just lay for an extra 5 minutes or something. I mean, the actual time didn't come into my consciousness, but I was like, okay, maybe I just should lay here. Well, I'm sort of on a routine. Like, I wake up, drink water, make breakfast, wash my face, like, all of these things. So, in that moment when I was like, oh, maybe I should just lay here, but then still went about my day, that was a moment where I didn't trust my feeling. And so you're not alone if that's something that you do. So then flash forward to the next day. The same thing happened. And you know what I did? I just laid there. And it didn't actually happen 5 minutes. It happened like a couple hours. But then I came out of that and started my routine after that and felt so good. It was like, wow, this is how I feel when I trust myself. And sometimes that's the greatest challenge that we have is when we have those big decisions to make, how do we go about listening to ourselves versus what's outside of ourselves? And I'm not saying that you won't need outside help from time to time, but can you say that you actually know how you feel about something before you seek the outside help? And then, can you trust that whatever you're feeling is what's true for you? And I don't want to sit here and say that I'm this person that I fully trust myself, because in a lot of ways, yes, I do. I do fully trust myself. But then in other ways, I find myself second guessing. So it's not something that, with presence, like I said, you just wake up and you're like, oh yeah, I'm present. Oh yeah, I trust myself. But these are the steps that we take in order to love ourselves fully and completely, and know that when things come up, we trust ourselves to get through it. We know we have the tools. We know we have ourselves internally to get through it. And that's the biggest power that we can have in our lives, is that we are sovereign beings and we fully trust ourselves. We're present with ourselves. And with that, we call in those people, those places, and those things that are at our truest frequency. And what do I mean by frequency? I mean who you are truly on the inside, stripping away your job, what you look like, your pets, if you have them, which obviously I do. Look, I'm wearing my sweater. Anyways, your pets, your friends, your family, just stripping everything away. Who are you? Can you sit here and tell me who you are without any of those things? And I know that that's something that like we hear about here and there, especially when you're on a healing journey, just like I am. You hear, oh, who are you? Who are you? Well, let me tell you, I'm still figuring that out. I have a good idea, but I still have a lot more healing and a lot more exploring of myself to do. So I know who I am right now in this moment, but I'm going to grow. I'm going to evolve, just like every single one of you. And so if you take away where I live, my lovely dog, my family members, all of that, at the end of the day, I love who I am, truly. I'm not just saying that. I trust what I feel, even in the moments that I second guess. I trust, and I am present within myself. And did that happen overnight? Absolutely not. It's something that I go back and forth with. I have the moments, like I shared with you, where I didn't listen. I didn't trust. And even and with trust, we have those like really big things that we're calling in, right? Like, I just think about this moment I had a few years ago where I graduated college and I was like, I need to find a job because I have student loans. Like, oh my God, can I do this? And I just remember driving to take this test, and it was for waste management, which, backstory, I'm an engineer. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to recycle and blah, 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 thinking that it was waste management. Anyways, I'm driving to this test and all my data shuts off of my phone. And so I'm in this place, this area that I've never even heard of, let alone seen, and don't know how to get back home. And I'm freaking out, like crying and, the whole 9 yards. I didn't know what to do. I finally pulled up to a gas station, asked to use their phone. It was kind of a weird area. I was like, please let me use your phone so I can call my dad, because I know he can figure it out and like get me home. Well, long story short, I went through that, didn't even make it to the test, And looking back, that was the universe saying, not for you, don't go there. So instead of trusting, and like, why I'm telling you this story is I knew I didn't want to work there before I even signed up for the test. But you know, sometimes we're desperate for something, anything, right? And that was me when I graduated. I was like, I'm a little desperate and I need a job. So I knew before the test I never wanted to do it. It wasn't for me. Like, I have a little bit of issues with recycling, anyways. If you guys want to talk about that, we can. It's an interesting discussion, but, anyways. So the universe kind of really slapped me in the face and said, this is not for you. And in that moment, looking back, or in this moment, looking back, I realized I didn't trust my original feeling that this wasn't for me. It's okay that I was still looking for a job and blah, 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 and trying to figure things out. It's okay. But I didn't trust. So, flash forward up to now, I trust. And it's not something that happens overnight, it's one little thing at a time. And with that, I'm sending you so much love. I am here for you. I understand that sometimes it's hard, but I promise you that if you don't give up on yourself and you really commit to figuring out who you are, you'll get there little by little. And that's what we're here for.